Greetings, everybody. I'm so glad to welcome you to Transforming Community Spaces, Summer Peace Building Institute from June 13th to 18th, 2022, along with my colleague, friend, and wonderful co-teacher, Leanne Smith, nurse. We will be covering a lot of ground in this class, examining contested community spaces. Of course, this includes monuments and memorials, but also historic homes and museums such as Monticello, home of former President Thomas Jefferson, but also over 600 enslaved people. Similarly, Montpelier, home of James Madison, but also hundreds of enslaved people. Contaminated sites, Ringwood, New Jersey, Bainbridge Island, Washington, Gilt Edge, South Dakota. Residential schools, sites of violence, sites of unwelcome transition. Many such sites around the United States, North America, the Americas, and the globe indeed. You will have many such spaces within your own country or within your own community. What makes these so challenging to be able to change them? Many times they have contested meanings. Often there's a legacy of harm that continues, including severe trauma. Many times such spaces, rather than providing healing, reinforce harmful narratives. And they often have competing meanings, competing identities to different people. We're looking at how can we actually transform these sites in ways that reflect a common vision, a shared vision for your institution or your community. We offer also a way of moving forward with these that we call equitable collaboration. Equitable collaboration has 6 components. It is first and foremost trauma-informed. So we'll be talking a lot about and experiencing different processes for trauma-informed facilitation, including self-care. By inclusive, we don't just mean how do you create a process that's open to everybody, but how do you actually see people with different identities? How do you make them welcome when oftentimes those identities have made them excluded from a particular place? Responsive, meaning that you are actually not just bringing people into a false promise to create a public meeting where nothing might happen, but where you're actually saying, this is an opportunity for you to bring people together to make change in a productive way. Truth-seeking, oftentimes there are multiple truths for these sites. So how do we bring those truths forward? Deliberative means that we understand that there is something to learn, and that while our values may very likely not change, but how we understand that we implement those values will change when we bring people together in productive ways. And finally, adaptive. That is, we don't bring just one process to a particular situation, but we adapt that according to the circumstance of that situation and over a period of time as we bring people together. For example, some of the self-care that we will practice, we'll do an exercise of this sort once or twice every session. As part of the closing exercise, we'll be asking you to design your own equitable collaboration process. Don't worry, we will be spending a lot of time about different sites that we have experience working with and looking at some of these questions that we will be asking. What is the issue? What is the situation? What goals do you have for this situation? What outcomes do you seek? How can you engage the community? How can you engage diverse representatives in this process? What is it you need to understand about these issues in order to make effective decisions about each other, about how you care about these issues? What resources will be helpful in pulling people together for these issues? One of the highlights of this will be a visit, a field trip to my home community of Charlottesville, Virginia. We'll look at UVA's Memorial to Enslaved Laborers, where I had the opportunity to serve as a lead for the design team for community engagement and to meet with the representatives of the community, including descendants of those enslaved, to hear how they perceive this memorial. An ongoing project, Swords into Plowshares, is focused on transforming what the material that used to make up the statue to Lee in one of Charlottesville's public places into some form of art that is much more inclusive than what was done before. And we will also take a look at the memorialization efforts that Charlottesville and Albemarle County are making in relation to the lynching of John Henry James and working with the Equal Justice Initiative's memorial project headquartered in Montgomery, Alabama, to disperse around the country. So that is it. We are looking forward to working with you, to meeting with you, to learning about the concerns that you have in your own communities, how you are working to help your communities bring people together to deal with these spaces. We are excited. We are looking forward to June, and we invite you to gather with us.